Happy lunch hour, guys. So, paying attention to what's going on this morning after the farce that was Biden's comments yesterday, it's amazing to see the idiocy that's going on not only in the U.S. but around the world to cover for his fraudulencies and, the shit that comes out of his mouth. I got a kick out of it yesterday when one of the reporters made the comment that, 49% of the United States doesn't believe you're competent for the job. And, we all know his poll numbers are, about 33% dropping like a rock. And Biden's response was, well, I don't believe in polls. Well, Joe, I'll tell you what, I don't either. Because I don't think that it's only 49% that believe you're incompetent, and I certainly don't believe that 33%, one-third of this country, still thinks you're doing a good job. So, yeah, I don't believe in polls either. That would be the media spinning numbers, trying to make them as possibly as good for you as they could, okay? But we go on with, of course, the media. Now, the other big thing that Joe completely put his foot in his mouth with yesterday was when he was pressed on Russia and Ukraine. And a ton of questions came in on Russia and Ukraine because the leftist media needs to push this narrative, okay? And I got a kick out of Joe's answer when he asked about what Putin was going to do with Ukraine. And, quote, he said, "My guess is he will move in." Your guess? That's what we get now? Because, gee, I seem to remember Little Red Riding Hood telling us it was imminent, it was coming any day, yada, yada, yada. It was a certainty. We knew this was going to happen, and now it's your guess? Okay. I want to remind somebody, everybody remember go back about 20 years ago and the whole war in Iraq. Weapons of mass destruction. Remember being told that, okay, that Iraq was going to, Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and they were going to obliterate Israel. They were going to obliterate the world, whatever it would be. And the media was there beating the drums going, oh my God, we can't go to war, we can't go to war, George Bush is so wrong, everything like that. And we wound up going to war, and believe it or not, the media was right, okay? There were no weapons of mass destruction, except we found ourselves in a 20-year war that eventually branched off into Afghanistan. We lost thousands of lives. We spent billions upon billions of dollars, all for something that never happened. And the media patted itself on the back the whole time, saying, see, we told you, we told you, we told you. And the Republicans, the GOP, the conservatives, were all accused of how hawkish they were. That, they just wanted to go to war because they needed to save George Bush's presidency because, again, the Bush-Gore election, remember 20 years ago, how the media and the leftists were all saying Bush was an illegitimate president, right? Okay. My, how the tables have turned, because now we have an election that is pretty reminiscent of 2000s, okay? Same thing here. We have a president who's got massively failing poll numbers. And this time, because it's a Democrat, the media is going to come in and save the day. Amazing how the Democrats are now the ones that are hawkish and want to go to war. And the dovish are the Republicans who are saying no. Now, again, I'm not saying all. There are certainly some hawkish Republicans, and there are certainly some dovish Democrats. They just aren't the majority. It's no different than saying California's a red state, or I'm sorry, California's a blue state and Tennessee's a red state. Yes, California is a blue state, and there are conservatives that live there. Yes, Tennessee's a red state, and yes, there are liberals that live here. Okay, so it's not 100%, but it's the majority. So what do you have today? And I want you to take a look at a few pictures here, all right? Take a look at these. These are put out today by CNN, by the Daily Mail, and by the German tabloid Bild, okay? These are supposed maps that the Western media has obtained that Russia is, Russia's battle plans for attacking Ukraine. Now, take a look at these. And they're all pretty, and they've got nice graphics on it, and they've got details and everything like that. Here's something that you guys might want to know, okay? First off, battle plans aren't going to have photographs of snipers or infantry troops on them. They're not going to have little GIF images of airplanes flying across. And if these are Russian battle plans, I'm pretty much betting they're not going to be in English, okay? So these are completely made up by the Western media to try to stoke the fears in the population that Russia's going into Ukraine and going to start World War III and all this sort of crap, okay? This is trying to cover, this is the media around the world trying to cover for Biden's foolishness. Now, I'm going to give you something. This is kind of interesting that you might want to think about. Everybody keeps talking about, and the countries keep doing, all the military equipment, personnel, things like that that are being sent to Ukraine, okay? By the Brits, by the Germans, by the US, whatever it would be. Including reservists. Does anybody want to guess who the largest military in the world is? I will almost guarantee you are wrong. Including reservists, Vietnam has the largest military in the world at 10.5 million people. North Korea is second at 7.7, South Korea is third at 6.7, India is fourth at 5.1, and China's fifth at 4 million. Okay, the Russians sixth at 3.5, the United States is at 2.2. But so let's only talk about active duty, okay? The largest military, this one everybody would understand, China, 2.2. Okay, the United States is third, following India. We're about 1.4 million people on active duty. All right. Russia has 1 million active duty members and 3.5 million military, including reservists. Now, I want to give you this. Everybody's acting, the world is acting, the media is acting like Ukraine is some destitute little country that can't do anything for themselves or anything. Square mileage wise, Ukraine is about the size of Texas, okay, roughly. Ukraine has 250,000 active duty troops and another 900,000 reservists. So if you think about a country that is 1/6 the size of the United States, they have 1.15 million troops, including all their reservists, okay? 1.15 million. The United States has 2.23. So they are 1/6 the size, yet have half the people in the military, okay? Active duty wise, okay, then they're about 1/6. So military strength wise, personnel, they are on par, if not better than the United States, who pretty much everybody will say is the most sophisticated military in the world. Okay? So personnel-wise, it's not a necessity. Smaller than Russia? Absolutely. Okay. Some pansy that they're just going to knock over? No, certainly not. So then you talk about equipment that Ukraine has. 13,000 plus tanks and armored vehicles, 67 planes, warplanes, okay, it's nothing big, 34 attack helicopters, 13 warships, okay. Mind you this, the Ukrainian Navy is on par with the Chinese Navy. Think about this, all right? Ukraine is no pushover. Putin knows this, okay? There's 1,000,001 reasons why Putin is not going to go in for a shooting war with Ukraine. It's a losing battle. You turn the rest of the world against you. Ukraine can fight back. I mean, eventually, yes, they would get overrun, okay? Eventually it would happen. But what you have going on is the West and the Western media propaganda machine pushing for this to happen. The false flag that's going to go up, like I said last week, is not going to be Russia doing something. It's not going to be Ukraine doing something. It's going to be NATO that is going to do something that they are going to blame on Russia to start this. Reminiscent of exactly what happened 20 years ago. Don't let the bullshit that the media is telling you sway your opinion. This is hawkish Democrats, like I said a few weeks ago, cornered animals who are trying to do anything they can to save their ass. You guys have mentioned many times to me, oh, we wouldn't change president during a war. Think they don't think that? Okay. Gee, war is good to save an economy. Not really. You know, the reason that the United States came out of World War II was because the battle wasn't fought here. We loaned all of Europe a ton of money for them to rebuild, and they had to pay us back with interest, okay? If the battle would have been fought on U.S. territory, yes, I'm not including Pearl Harbor, okay? It would have been a total different picture. This is why the U.S. and NATO are perfectly happy with this. We go play on somebody else's territory. Ask Great Britain, ask Germany, ask the United States, how hawkish they would be if the war was in London, was in Berlin, was in Boston, New York, Washington. They might change their tune a little bit. Don't believe all the crap that's coming out. I have no belief whatsoever that Russia and Ukraine are going to war. None. Enjoy the rest of your day. Pinball out.